is Jennifer Cowan Henderson. She is our Director of Planning and Development here at the State Library and Archives. Thanks, Jennifer, for helping me with the chat today. The webinar is being recorded, and it'll be posted to the LibGuide later this week. Again, thanks for all of you for joining. We've got people from all over the state, and I'm grateful for you guys taking the time out of your busy schedules to be here this morning, especially on a Monday morning. So let's get started. Today, we're going to look at the Public Library Survey, explain what it is, why we do it each year. We'll briefly run through each section, take a look at some of the statistics that should be entered, what we're looking for from you all. I'll show you some of the resources and tools that are available to you, and that'll help you in using your library data and statistics. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you have, so please feel free to put those questions in the chat for Jennifer. She'll be monitoring those for us throughout the morning. The Tennessee the annual Public Library Survey is intended to provide a general description of public libraries and services to the library users during the reporting year. The information supplied by public libraries and public library systems is published online and on the Secretary of State's Tennessee Public Library Statistics website page. And throughout this, Jennifer may pop in some of the links to some of these sites for you if you need to refer back to them. Some of the data elements are cooperatively shared with the Institute for Library Museum Services, IMLS, to add to the National Database of Public Library Information as part of the National Public Library Survey. The data is collected from approximately 9,000 public libraries and approximately 17,000 outlets, individual public library outlets throughout the state and in all 50 states. And like us, IMLS makes their federal data set available on its website and provides its library search and compare tool using that data. We have 12 parts of the survey that we use to collect library statistics. Part 1 is your facility's general information and characteristics. Part 2 are details on your library staff. Part 3, items currently in your library collection. Part 4, stats on your library services and circulation of library materials. Part 5, which includes resource sharing. Part 6 collects additional facility data on bookmobiles and your meeting room usage. Part 7, details regarding your friends group. Within Part 8, electronic technology. Part 9, library revenue. Part 10, operating expenditures. Part 11, capital review, revenue and expenditures. And Part 12, system data and outlets. This is the timeline for the upcoming data collection period for this fiscal year. Libraries gather statistics throughout the calendar year and compile their end-of-year statistics, usually in July and August. During that time, I prepare and update the current survey with any pre-populated statistics, modifications, or new and deleted data elements. Each year, the survey opens from September 1st through September 30th. Once the survey closes, an initial round of data verification and follow-up emails or calls will take place. So even if you've locked your data and submitted your data, you may be contacted for clarification or just to provide additional information. Next January, I'll upload all of our data files in the requested format to be vetted by IMLS on a national level, along with the 50 other states. During that review process, additional edit checks may be triggered and follow-up questions may be needed from our libraries. So including good notes and annotations throughout the survey is a terrific way for you to communicate any changes or differences in the data. So that way I can easily view it and respond to these follow-ups without potentially contacting you. The review process is usually completed in June. At that time, the State Library will certify and publicly release the data. Nationwide statistics are typically released in the summer of the following year. Currently, IMLS and the Tennessee State Library and Archives make their data available on their websites. They also provide unique tools to demonstrate how libraries are supporting their communities. IMLS makes the federal data set available on its website and provides its library and search and compare tool. It uses those data sets to allow you to compare libraries across the country, within the state, or in the city or county. For example, if you wanted to see what other libraries of similar size or to yours were providing with their library programming based on maybe the amount of revenue they received, you could quickly select those two fields using this tool and download the data. When you have some time, I encourage you, if you haven't already looked at it, to take a look and play around with it. I've also provided a recording training webinar on how to use the tool, which is on our data collection and statistics LibGuide, sorry. Here at the State Library, we also provide statistical information, annual reports, and free infographics. We'll take a deeper dive into those just a little bit later. The data that's used from the Public Library Survey is crucial in empowering public libraries and being able to recognize the vital role that they play in their communities. Listed here are just a few of the uses of the data, which include kind of identifying trends in the programming and library services, planning continuous improvement, adherence to public library standards, comparisons with similar libraries, development of promotional materials at the local, county, system, and state level, calculating the cost per circulated item, identifying library expansion and relocations, and verifying any state or federal grant qualifications, and we could go on. And there's just so much that we can do with all of this information. I'd like to briefly run through the sections of the survey. And again, please feel free to put any of the questions in the chat, or we can discuss it at the end. Instructions on how data and annotations should be entered or located at the beginning of each section throughout the survey. Definitions for each of the questions are also provided. Although the survey saves the data as its input, as a good rule of thumb, please just remember to save your work occasionally. I also want to mention, last year we had a situation where the person was entering their data, stepped away for several hours, came back, and although the survey was still where they left it on their screen, they had actually been timed out and logged out of LibPass. Unfortunately, they continued to input data onto the screen, but it wasn't saving because they were no longer logged in. So, should you happen to take a break from the survey, which we encourage, please remember to refresh your screen and make sure you're still logged in. This screenshot that I'm showing you here also includes an open-ended question, which is providing an opportunity for you to let us know if you have any specific services or challenges or noticed any trends that we may not be able to capture or haven't captured in the survey, or something that your library has done that you'd like to share with us. You can also include any suggestions or questions you'd like for us to answer. I download all this information and I share that with the administration here at the State Library. So we appreciate your feedback. Anything you want to share? Part one simply begins with the directory information about your library. It includes your mailing address, physical address, contact numbers, and emails, as well as your website links. This information should always be up to date and match the data in the Tennessee Public Library Directory. So please double check this area for any changes and updates. Any information throughout the survey that's shown in gray, that signifies that those fields are locked. So they either have been pre-filled with data that I've put in for you, or they've got an automatic calculated field. Circled here is the official area service population, which is pre-filled from the same figures that I gather from your official service area population certification forms, which are signed by your board chairs. If a field like your telephone number needs to be updated, you can use a note using the little icon with the square and pencil shown circled here. Throughout the year, if you'd prefer, you can call me, you can send me an email, you can request changes be made at any time of the year. And this also goes for the Public Library Survey, the Public Library Directory. For those of you who aren't familiar with the directory, here's a screenshot. It allows you to search by region, county, city, or library name. You can click directly on the map or you can use the drop-down shown here to find a library in the state. So if you see information here that doesn't match up with the public library survey, let us know. This is a good time to express how imperative it is that Part 1 through the end of Part 12 are all completed. Don't feel like you have to enter everything all at once. Like I said, feel free to stop, save as you go, and take your time. Circled here are the 4 questions regarding hours that are to be completed in Part 12 of the system and outlet data, which is at the end of the survey. Once that's entered, it'll populate these fields. I just wanted to show you where things are kind of coming and being populated throughout the survey. There's another area that I want to draw your attention to in this section, which is the library structure. If you're reporting a central library, it means that it's the main library or the unit where the principal collections are kept. Some systems may have an administrative center separate from the principal collection and not open to the public. This type of building shouldn't be reported as a central library. You'll include your branch libraries, which also includes your bookmobiles. This section is pre-filled for you. If you need to make a change, if you've closed or opened a new branch library or a bookmobile, you need to contact me. The system requires us to add additional information in the outlet section before entries can be made on your end. So don't just add a note saying that the number's changed or this is off. Send me a message, please. The last segment is registered borrowers. This patron should be a registered borrower who has used their library card in some way in the past 3 years. As I've mentioned before, to those of you who have sat in on this before, your expired patrons bog down your integrated library systems, makes it difficult to target services, programming through patron data. And finally, expired patrons really aren't an actual reflection of your library's reach in your community. So please stay up to date with your registered borrowers. And when you're running your active user reports, please try and use a 3-year time frame. Part 2 is where the questions regarding your library staff begin. In the first section, you're going to count, there'll be a count of the positions and their hours in your library. Please note the definition for a designated full-time employee is to be working 40 hours, even if your system or your county or your city has a different definition of full-time. It doesn't matter if it's 35 hours, 25 hours, you need to go off the 40 hours to make sure it's consistent with the other libraries that are reporting across the United States. We have the calculation here to help you convert the number of hours to full-time, shown here with the blue arrow. This is for all positions, including MLS librarians and other full-time staff. You won't include any substitutes, volunteers, or staff that are paid by another entity other than the library. So I also ask any vacant positions should be reported as long as they're still in your budget, even if the position has vacated. The only time you will not report is if the line item was removed from your budget. You won't need to report that position. The second section of Part 2 is for state use only, and it's not shared on a federal level. The library staff salary is such a valuable addition to the survey, and your input is required. I've noticed before you leave a field blank, maybe because you can't remember how long somebody's been in the current position or their years of experience, could you please try going to the top of the survey, select the prior year to see what was entered there last year. And honestly, this goes for any portion of the survey. It's a handy way to view the prior year's entries or annotations and notes that you may have had, or maybe someone else helped you complete it the prior year or previous library director. It's a great way to kind of see how and why things were entered. And you can toggle back and forth while you're completing the survey. It doesn't take you in and out. So you can go back and forth between periods and years. We have some great stories about how the salary data has been used for things like salary increases, library budget increases. We've had changes to job descriptions, which include higher base salaries. And we've enjoyed getting feedback from you all when things like that happen. Once the data is certified, I take this information, I create and distribute our state salary survey report. It provides you with an Excel spreadsheet. It's got multiple tabs. In the first tab, I try and include as a summary, and it gives you a 2-year comparison showing each of these positions, their annual salaries, and it's sortable by library level and whether or not they have an MLIS. The salary survey report is posted to the statistics LibGuide, and you can also request a copy from your regional office, from me. A side note, for those of you who aren't maybe so handy with Excel, need something in a PDF or something specific from the report you're trying to show your board or trustees, I can edit and format that according to your needs. So I'm always happy to help you on that. Part 3 is where you're going to begin to enter all your materials in your library collection. We pre-fill your beginning inventory, which is carried over from the previous year from what you've entered. Please double check your beginning numbers. And if you use a monthly workbook, make sure those also align. If you see something off, it's imperative that you make sure your owned as of June 30th total is correct by using the added and deleted fields. You don't want to carry a mistake over from year to year on the survey. And this is the best way to correct that from happening. So although if your beginning inventory is off, you want to add your added and deleted, people get a little confused. For the state library, that's not as important to us. We actually don't care what you've added or deleted during the year. We're just looking for that owned as of fiscal year end date to make sure that that number is correct. So take advantage of being able to do that and get that right.
Christine, we've got a question.
Sure.
Are the calculations that are throughout the survey done automatically?
Yes, if it's a grayed out field and the calculations there, yes. We don't want anybody doing math. People don't like math. We try not to do that. Yeah. But yes, any grayed out field is a calculated field, and we do that for you.
And we have one comment from Shelley from Morristown saying that the salary survey helped with this year's raises.
Woo! Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That's great. I'm glad to hear that. So last year we added the section on access to electronic materials. These questions provide context to the electronic materials expenditure values, which will aid in peer comparisons, as well as highlight the importance of collective purchasing and resource pooling among public libraries. These are simple yes and no questions. I've provided examples to help you. The 3 options for each of the electronic purchases are 1, access through the administrative entity or your library, your main library. You're going to answer yes if you've purchased any of these materials using your for your library using the Overdrive Advantage. The second is access to through a collective via consortium, cooperative, or a group at the local, regional, or state level. Here you're going to answer yes if you purchase a database or online learning platform through a consortium like TenShare. You'll also answer yes if you use regional allocations to purchase some of these materials. Third, access via state library agency or another state agency at no or minimal cost to the AE. Here you're going to answer yes if you provide access to reads. This would include all the regional libraries and independents purchasing access to reads. You'll answer no for e-videos. As the state library, we don't purchase videos for reads anymore. I did pre-populate these for you via the state this year, but you can change them if that does not fit you, or if something changes for your library. If you need any addition, yes.
Sorry, I have another question regarding the salary survey.
Okay, great. Sure.
You had mentioned that you can ask for additional information based on salary survey. Is it possible to get an hourly rate for certain positions?
We break it out by the annual survey, and there's not a way for me to break it out. I've gotten that question before, and I'm sorry I can't get it an hourly rate for you. Anything else?
Nope, that's it so far.
Okay. So finally, on the access to electronic materials, if you need any additional information on any question, you're just going to simply select that underline number for the question, and it'll pop up a box. So like on 3.58, let me show you what would happen. So you click on that number, and this indicator note will pop up like the one shown here, and it'll show the entire question being asked. It'll provide a full definition for the data requested. And a lot of times I've also included examples of how to answer the question. So as you go through this survey, this is a little helpful tool, a quick helpful tool to get you any additional information that'll help you fill out that entry correctly. Part 4 is where you're going to enter your data on how you assist your patrons. This includes your library visits, your reference transactions. Included in the instructions is a list that provides examples to help you determine what should be counted as a reference transaction. So I've listed it here as part of the definitions, and then again, you could click on each individual number, which will show you the same information. I get a lot of questions and edit checks on part 4. The data is broken out by types of physical materials and electronic materials. Although you may have input a -1 in a field, if you don't know it, everyone should have the breakouts in their reports this year. We allowed it last year because some of our questions were new. I do provide the Reads Advantage annual usage workbook on the statistics LibGuide, and last year I began including the electronic circ by material. So for ebooks, e-serials or magazines, e-audios, and e-videos. So you should have that information there. Please remember to select the drop-down for whether your library offers automatic renewal for any physical materials during the reporting period. For this, you're going to answer yes, no, or missing using that menu. Reminder here, patrons don't have to take any action for automatic renewals. The integrated library system rules determine how and when those automatic renewals occur. Does anybody have any questions regarding circulation? If you do, we can answer them later as well. Like the rest of the survey, no changes, I'm happy to say, were made to the survey, and that goes, sorry. Like the rest of the survey, no changes were made to the programming portion of the survey. For those of you using a monthly workbook, you're going to simply enter your totals in each age group. Remember, there are questions for on-site and off-site for the programs you're offering. As an example, if you're hosting a program geared towards an entire family or community held at your local park, you would enter your data in the off-site general interest category for programs and that attendance. You're also going to count the views or plays of recorded asynchronous program presentations, which is a period of 30 days after the presentation was posted, even if that period extends beyond the survey reporting period or fiscal year. I do have a few programming guides to assist you, which can also be found on the LibGuide. This section is pretty straightforward. You should complete the information on your library materials borrowed and loaned to other libraries. You'll also answer yes or no if your library has a reciprocal agreement with other libraries. I just want you to note the courier service is not considered to be a reciprocal borrowing agreement. It's a resource sharing with another library. In this part of the survey, you're going to enter your facility information, which includes your square footage of your library, your meeting room use, whether you have a bookmobile, the total number of public meeting rooms for functions are not sponsored, organized, or initiated by the library. You'll enter 0 if you don't have any. The meeting room use is the number of events held in the library meeting rooms, and the meeting room attendance is the total number of events held in the library meeting rooms. Again, not sponsored, organized, or initiated by the library. If you're not able to provide data for those questions, you're just going to simply select not available or unable to track. Here, you're going to enter your friends organization information in part 7 of the survey. You'll also answer some questions regarding an organized foundation here. Part 8 covers the use of electronic technology in the library. Please remember to select the reporting methods for uses of computers and the wireless sessions. The drop-down allows you to select from an annual count or an estimated count based on a typical week or weeks of the hardware logging or network scanning. One thing I'd like to mention is although the PLS doesn't collect data for the website visits any longer, we do strongly encourage every library to have a website. It's also included in our Tennessee Public Library standards. In addition to this portion of the survey, the questions regarding access to the research materials, databases, and online learning platforms and how they're funded have helped to provide a broader picture of how your libraries are providing access to your patrons. Part 9 collects information for your library's revenue. I've included in this screenshot because if you forget to select the number of city appropriations in the drop-down shown circled here, it won't populate the question 9.2, which allows you to enter your city name and amount appropriated. We've had this happen a couple of times, and it flags an edit check. So please just remember to go through each question carefully. As I mentioned earlier, if you need to reference appropriations or expenditures from prior year survey, you'll simply scroll to the top of the survey, select the previous year, view the information, and reselect 2025, and it'll bring you back to entering your data. This is a continuation of Part 9 for income and other income. Your city and county funds are going to automatically be calculated for you for your total local revenue. In 9.6, your state revenue funds are all distributed directly, not via the regional library, to you by the state government for expenditures, except for federal money distributed by the state. You should also include your top grants, STEM grants in this field. In 9.7, you should report any LSTA funds received from the state library. This includes your tech grants. We had CARES grants, we had ARPA grants, and any other LSTA allocations. These funds aren't included when determining if a regional library meets maintenance of effort requirements. Remember to answer yes or no in 9.A. If your library charges overdue fines for the return of physical print materials by the due date. These aren't fines. They are not fines, not replacement costs for lost or damaged materials. In Part 10, you're going to enter your operating expenses for your salaries and benefits, as well as expenses for your print, electronic, and other materials purchased. Each section shown here provides 2 lines to record expenses. A is for those paid from funds obtained through appropriations, and B is for non-capital expenses paid from any source except appropriations, like gifts or fines or fees.
We have a question.
Sure thing.
So going back to programs.
Yes.
Michelle says we've had a bit of confusion about what counts and what doesn't.
Okay.
That she doesn't count movie nights anymore because someone said they were passive.
Okay.
But film screenings are listed on LibGuide as counting. So can you discuss active versus passive programming so we're sure that we're entering good data?
I guess instead of doing that, we would probably look at what the definition of a program is. You would ask yourself, is there a public library staff member present? Did you advertise for it? If it meets the definition of a program, then it should be included. I don't know why a movie night at your library wouldn't be included unless it's just a drop-in. People can drop in and out if someone's not present, if it's not for a certain period of time. But that would be my suggestion first. And I've also got kind of an infographic on our LibGuide that kind of goes through examples of what is and what isn't a public library program. And I think that might be of help as well. Does that kind of answer your question?
Possibly. So
Possibly.
Michelle says yes, it does.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Anytime anybody has a question on whether something not meets a program, please call me. I'm happy to chat, happy to go through it because I know some of them are a little weird or maybe a little unique. So yeah, if you ever have a question about something, don't not count it. Check in with me or check in with your regional library. We'll be happy to help you. Thank you. Anybody else?
No, that's it so far.
Okay, great. I think that wraps up operating expenditures. We'll move on to the next slide. Let's just talk about the kind of income and expenditures you should include in Part 11. You should report all revenue, which is used for major capital expenditures. For example, a site acquisition, a new building, additions to or renovation of library building, any furnishings, equipment, or initial book stock for new buildings, or your building addition or renovation of library buildings. Please don't include replacement and repair of existing furnishings, equipment, including computers, any regular purchases of library materials. You will not include contributions to endowments, income passed through another agency, or funds that were unspent in the previous year, any carryover funds. That would not be included here. I understand this can get a little confusing. Say your library has been awarded a capital funds for a project, something happens to the project or it gets delayed. The funds are moved into your budget. Regardless of how it was originally designated, you need to report it where it ultimately ends up at the end of the fiscal year. And I know there are a lot of all sorts of different situations that come up, especially in the finance area. So if you've got questions about how something should be reported, don't hesitate to reach out to your regional office or myself, and we can help you work through whatever circumstance you may have. And that goes for anything, programming, any questions you have, we're happy to help. Part 12 is the last section of the survey. This includes annual counts for each separate facility, the main, branch, and bookmobile. To make things a little easier for you and eliminate doing math calculations, I included the other question numbers on the survey where you should have already entered the information, and these should match. For example, under annual circulation in 12.30, that'll be the same as you reported in 4.5. And same goes for total collection. It should be the same number that you reported in 3.60. And as a final reminder, if you're ever unsure, especially when you get down here and you're ready to be done and you just aren't clear what to enter on these fields, just click on that underlined question to review that full definition. I know this is a really fast and brief run through of what's collected for the survey. So as questions come up, please keep them coming. Next, I kind of just want to show you some of the other data sources and resources that are available to you. I think, Liz, you had a question on.
She does.
Okay.
Can you clarify about not reporting the amounts of allocation funds that libraries can spend against for materials via the regional office?
Liz Schreck, I'm not sure I understand what you mean by that. Can I clarify not reporting the amount of allocations funds?
She's asking about not reporting material allocations.
Well, you're always going to report your material allocations.
The funds that they don't receive, but they spend through the region?
Oh, I'm sorry, Liz. Thank you. I don't know how. Sorry. How do you want me to clarify it? Do you want to unmute and clarify that?
She said that's
Okay.
what she meant.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry. Anything else? Well, thank you for that. A great place for you to start with some of the resources is the Data Collection and Statistics LibGuide page. The center block, I know this is really tiny, you probably can't see it here, but it does include the link to log in to Counting Opinions LibPass. The dates the survey opens and closes, as well as instructions, definitions, webinar, recordings. If you have login credentials to LibPass, you'll also have access to the reporting tool, which is a module inside the software where you can run custom reports for your library. If you'd like to share the PLS data information with your community, trustees, other members of your library, you should probably direct them to the Reader reports at the top of the login page in LibPass, or they're also located at the Secretary of State's statistics page. This is where we make the data publicly available. So anyone can use the reports to help you analyze the PLS data, help you tell a story specific for your library, how you're helping your community without logging in. So all those data sets, anything we gather for PLS is available to everybody. For those of you who are familiar with this LibGuide, hope you have it bookmarked on your computer for easy access. And for those of you who aren't as familiar or use it just one time a year, or just simply new to the data collection process, there's a lot of resources here for you. There's reports, there's library stats, there's the salary information that we talked about earlier. I also do a support rankings by county. There's instructions for Tennessee Libraries by the Numbers website. And again, there's programming information, handouts. There's even the link for the standard survey, design tools, blah, blah, blah. You get it. There's a lot here for you. Let's talk about what you have available to you in LibPass. So once you've logged in to complete the public library survey, you lock your data, you've got everything done, LibPass will automatically generate a thank you email for me to you. And in that email are going to be these these three handouts or merged reports. It'll go to the library director or whoever's email is associated with the account. These are also going to be located in your reports folder in LibPass. The great thing about these are they can be easily modified since they're in a Word format. One thing to note, when you get this email and they're sent to you, this is live data on what you just submitted for your library. So it will not have gone through any type of review process and it will not have been certified. This also kind of gives you a great opportunity to look at it see if there's any potential errors. You may see a glaring error in programming or, your circulation, and you go, oh my gosh, I must have entered something incorrectly. Simply contact me. I'll unlock it, and that goes for any time. If you've locked your survey, you need to get back in during that September open period. I'm more than happy to unlock that for you, so you can make any changes or corrections, or if you just want to review it again, to let me know. But these are some great reports, I think, that are handy and you can use. If you need help with them, I'm happy to help you with that as well. Unlike the pre-generated handouts from LibPass, all the infographics on the Tennessee Libraries by the Numbers site are created using the state certified data. So Libraries by the Numbers is a tool paid for by the state library and provides you with infographics on each library system based on the data from that public library survey. The website shown here is also on the Data Collection and Statistics LibGuide and on Secretary of State's website. The image on the right is just one example of the library overview generated by entering the library name and year. There are additional templates to choose from. I mean, it brings everything that you've entered onto the PLS for your programming, circulation, technology, and more. I've populated the website to contain our state data back to 2015. So any trend or custom reports or templates you select can show any kind of trend specific to that category. These are free infographics and are really great visualization tools for you to share when trying to tell your story, show your statistics with stakeholders, and we do hope you access this tool. I will say they are given to you in that PDF format. If there's something on one of these infographics that doesn't suit you, you don't like the way the number looks, or it says NA because maybe your library hasn't participated in that, let me know. And if you don't have access to make changes to a PDF, I'm happy to do that for you. We can customize that for you. Maybe add in a different data set there so that you can show something that is a little more tailored to what you're looking for. Just to wrap some things up, the Public Library Survey provides a general description of what our public libraries and their services are providing to all of our users in Tennessee. Our second objective was to kind of understand the data that's collected in the Public Library Survey. And finally, our third learning objective was to locate where the PLS statistics are located for the public and for you. So hopefully you will be able to link some of those and find some of the things that you can use and to help your library. Jennifer, do we have any other questions in the chat? Anything, comments, if you guys want to unmute?
We do not.
Okay. Well, guys, I've certainly enjoyed you being here. And if there are things that you think of for the future, let me know. I'll be sending this out and post this webinar to the LibGuide. And I'll also be posting some open hours where I'm going to make myself available on Teams to answer questions face-to-face. But feel free to call me anytime if something comes up or if you've got questions or just need help. I'll be here for you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you being here today. Bye.